What's your understanding of what happened on June the 21st?
My understanding is from when I spoke with my son on Friday, and he told me what his condition was that day. I just knew that he wasn't feeling well, so I advised him to go to the doctor Friday night. And in speaking with him on Messenger all that day and all that evening, actually, during my time at my sister's that evening, he said that he wasn't feeling well, so he did go to the doctor sometime Friday afternoon. Later, after supper Friday night, our time, he messaged and said that he had been waiting 3 hours to see a doctor, and we were just keeping in touch on Messenger the whole night, and I was getting very concerned about what was going on, so he messaged me back shortly after that, saying that he had waited 3 hours, and shortly afterwards he said they were going to do a CAT scan. So they did a CAT scan on him, and I said, well, please let me know, what the results of this is. I said, I'm worried now. So he messaged back and said that the result was internal bleeding and a concussion, and there was some fluid. So I said, my God. So I said, you're still in the hospital? No. He said, Mom, I left. I said, you shouldn't have left. You need to get back there. I said, if anything changes at all, if there's a slightest change in your headache or anything, I said, you need to get back there immediately. He said, that's what they told me. So I knew nothing anymore. He said he would call me the next day. We were preparing for his little daughter's birthday party the next day. And I didn't hear anything the next day, and I thought that was kind of strange. All the next day and the next evening went by, and there was no response. And so late Saturday night, I messaged him a couple times throughout the afternoon, and there was no response back. So I messaged later Saturday night, and no response. So then I phoned on his phone, and then there was no response back to that, telling him to call me no matter what the time. I was very worried. We were all very concerned at that point for him not to have called that day. So I didn't know anything before 3:51 Sunday morning. I received a phone call from ICU in Medicine Hat telling me my son was on life support, and I just lost it. I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of hit sick at that point. I couldn't understand what had happened or what had went down. He had gone non-responsive an hour before they called me, which was 11:30 their time up there. She called me 12:30 their time and said that they had to airlift him to Calgary immediately for brain surgery. And I think she had to repeat it 7 times before I actually understood what she was saying. I was just so shocked and not knowing really what was going on. So she said at the point that Dr. Ann Helm was on the phone to the neurology team in Calgary to get it all set up. And from there he went to Calgary. I left immediately Sunday morning, drove to St. John's and flew out and took the first flight that I could get, which was Sunday afternoon, and I arrived there at 9 o'clock at the hospital Sunday night. And an hour after I arrived there was when they called me in the family room and told me that my boy had passed away 4/16 Sunday afternoon, and I wasn't aware of that at the first hour that I spent with him there. So it was pretty traumatizing.